Hi, in this video I'm just going to go over a couple of the teams that have really good starts to the season. Just looking at some of the fixtures, teams to watch at the start of the season, and the players who are really good value from where. Okay, so before we start to look at some of the options from the lesser teams, I thought I'd start with the big teams. See where, because of the World Cup mainly, we can find some value. Now, in terms of set and forget goals, I think Leno, perhaps not from the start, but maybe from the start. I mean, his first two fixtures are quite tricky, but if we look from then on for Arsenal, there is a nice good run there, so I think Leno as a set and forget could be good. When we look at their defence as well, I think if Kolasinac looks like he's going to start for £5 million, then that's brilliant. Same goes for Luke Shaw. I think the more realistic one here is Lindelof. I think Delot may move over to left back or something. We'll have to see what happens in pre-season, but that's another one. Emerson, £5 million. Bellerin, £5 million. Looking at City, I think £5.5 million for Emerson. And Bay as well, but again, don't know if, not all these back fours, we don't know if they're going to start or not, but if we look again here, we can see at £5 million, Stones and company both aren't going to play, so Laporte, maybe £5.5 million from Man City could start the season. Maybe Danilo's going to start in place of Mendy. We saw how good Danilo could be, but we don't know if it's going to be him or Delph, but maybe if Danilo's going to start the season. I mean, I did actually have Mendy in my last video in my team, but obviously since seen a couple of people saying he may miss the start of the season because he was at the World Cup, but I don't know, we'll have to see what happens in pre-season. Still at Arsenal as well, two other good players in midfield, Ramsey and Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan for £7 million, we saw how well he started last season. 7.5 million, Martial should start just because the likes of Rashford, Lingard, Lukaku at the World Cup. Surely he's going to start, at least on the wing, if not up front. I'd expect Sanchez up front. I think Morata, £9 million. Yeah, he was poor last season, but he wasn't awful last season. I do think if he can push on this season, I think for £9 million, you know, again, watch pre-season. Barkley and Fabregas. Fabregas is the main one I'm looking at for 6.5, but we've seen how good Barkley can be in our fantasy teams, and with this more attacking manager, I expect Fabregas to move further forwards. Maybe with Barkley next to him, who knows? Barkley might get the nod. Obviously, Loftus-Cheek 5.5 looks very good. If he's going to start every week, we just don't know, but he won't start at the start of the season because he's been at the World Cup. But if Barkley's going to have a starting place back, but again, Barkley and Fabregas might not be first teamers. We'll just have to see. And then City, not the greatest amount of budget to be found here, but I think Ederson, he stands up to De Gea pretty nicely, you know, from an FPL standpoint anyway. For just £5 million less to set and forget Ederson could be nice. Again, looking at their midfield, Mahrez should start the season, £9 million. Silva as well, £8.5 million. Those are probably the two bargains if you're trying to double up on City. Those are perhaps where you'd look to pair your more expensive with Aguero up front, probably, or maybe even two of them in midfield. Another one at Chelsea as well who's come in is Jorginho. I expected him to be priced at 5.5. I think 4 assists and 3 goals last season, which isn't incredible. £1 million when we're comparing that to likes of what, Kearney, 5 and 5 in the Championship. Neves, 6 and 2 was it in the Championship. I think someone who I really like the look of is Will Hughes. I think he got 2 goals and 3 assists in 11 starts last season. Don't know if he's going to start. We'll have to watch pre-season. Other players around that £5 million mark. I think Kennedy, he's got poor fixtures, but he got 3 goals, 2 assists in 13 appearances. So I think Jorginho could be one to look at if you need a player in the £5 million mark. Everton, I think when you're talking about the lesser teams that have good fixtures, I think, I'll say lesser teams, Everton aren't that lesser of a team, but those first 5 doesn't get a great deal better than that. I think Pickford could be, for your early team set and forget, could be a great one. I think I'd still probably lean more towards rotation just because Everton's defence weren't the greatest. Coleman again, I mean, I know he's a bit of a nostalgia pick, but did alright last season since coming back from injury with those fixtures. 5.5 could be a good option. One of these in for a rotation defence, you know. Don't know which one's going to start alongside Keane yet, but that should be apparent by the end of pre-season. Someone who's definitely going to be in my team, I'm pretty sure, is Tosin. I really liked Tosin last season when he came in. I thought he did well in the short amount of time he was at the club, and just with those fixtures, I think he's the best, you know, mid-price striker for me anyway. And then when we look at the midfield, I think Welcott for 6.5 could be good. Sigurdsson for 7.5 could be good. I think there's just a few other midfielders I'd rather have. But Lookman, the one for me, see everyone going for Deulofeu. He got 7 goals and 3 assists, was it, out in Germany last season. if he's going to get a start in place, which I mean, he says he's looking for a new winger, so you'd assume that must be Welcott should be first choice, so maybe he doesn't like the look of Lookman and Balassi then, so we'll just have to see. But I think if Lookman is going to start the season, I think he could be a really bargain pick. I think another one of the lesser teams that gets off to a really good start of the season is Southampton. Always because of how poor they were at the back last season. We're seeing cut prices in Cedric, Forrester and Bertrand. Bertrand, £5 million would be a great option. There's a lot of good defenders for £5 million this season in that budget. There's a lot of defenders from top clubs that could get starts because of the World Cup, and there's a lot of, Bertrand and some other that we'll cover later on in the video. I think, talking to set and forget Pickford, obviously we saw a Southampton defence wasn't too great, but if you're really scraping for cash, set and forget with those fixtures, considering we're all probably going to be wildcarding early, could be a good way to save some cash. Elanusi, he got 11 goals, 7 assists, 4 assists, I can't remember how many assists he got, but he did very well, obviously, in the Swiss League. Will he adapt well to the Premier League? I don't know. I think he's perhaps a bit of an underlooked option at his price tag, though, 6.5. See a lot of people looking to the guy from Wolves, whose name I can't remember at that price tag. Theo Welcott. I think this is Elanusi, I think I'm saying his name right. I think I'd look to him over someone like Welcott, who I've gone to in the past and has done nothing for me. Redmond dropped price again. Always looks good, always has great stats, but never really performs. Could be one for the start of the season. Ward-Prowse. Actually had Redmond and Ward-Prowse in last season because of their good start to the season. Ward-Prowse, 5.5 million again. Obviously, last season he looked like he could be a bargain because he looked like he was going to start after pre-season, but did nothing for us once we got him in. But I still like him. And Austin, cut price Austin, £6 million. Could be good signing for a budget striker. If you need to save some money, that's £6 million cheaper than Tosin. I mean, £1 million cheaper than Tosin. Crystal Palace have great fixtures, but I don't think there's too many options that we'd really have in our team from the start. I mean, if you really need a £6 million midfielder, you could go for Townsend, but I mean, he's a bit of a trap, really. Hennessy could be a good rotation goalie. I don't know how you say his name, but I mean, he took Fosu Mensah's starting spot after the United game and looked really good. He's actually a winger as well. They are really light in midfield. If I just scroll down, I'd keep your eye on signings from Palace, really, because they're going to have to buy more midfielders before the season starts. So, I mean, Sakho is the main one, £5 million. Great option in defence. Probably going to get all the bonus points, goal threat. Van Aanholt, I like Van Aanholt going forwards. I think there's probably a few better options at £5.5 million from the bigger clubs. I'd probably prefer Coleman over him as well, just because I assume Everton's defence would be better, but Van Aanholt always been a great pick. Tompkins, £4.5 million, bargain. Almost definitely going to be in my team. Puncheon, £4.5 million, seems strange. Probably not going to play, but if they don't manage to sign the players they need, I mean, he could end up at number 10 or on the wing, so if he's in the starting lineup, again, I wouldn't expect much off him, but Zaha has been moved up front, which isn't ideal, but might make him easier to fit in our team from day one at least. Obviously going to be a great options with the fixtures you do have. I haven't shown you the fixtures yet. It's just that one tough game against Liverpool and then this really nice run until game week 9 then. And then Benteke again, probably won't have him in from the start because Zaha's only a little bit more expensive. I would expect Zaha to be pushed over to the wing though, but Benteke, if he can get his form back, then I think maybe later on in the season he could be one to consider for our wild card. We're going to be wild card around 3-4, so still a nice run of fixtures if he does get his form back. Finally, we move on to Bournemouth. Not too many great options from Bournemouth. I would say Stanislas at £6 million would probably be the one that would excite me the most. Had a decent end to last season. Not really too sure what's going on with this injury though. Hopefully he'll be back for the start of the season. £6 million probably would be one of the better choices for that price tag. King again, 6.5. I mean, didn't have the greatest of seasons last season. We've looked at that still. 8 goals, 4 assists. With the fixtures that he does have, Wilson again, just a bit cheaper option. The same, he got, again, look at these fixtures, just the Chelsea game really in there to worry about. 2 good Premier League proven strikers. Obviously, Wilson and King have both been really cheap beasts in the past. Both pretty average last year. Ibe and Fraser both look, again, great options for their price tags. It's just, I mean, 5.5 is probably the right for both of them. Would prefer Ibe, it just depends on which one's going to be starting. Don't really know. After again watch preseason. Daniels again, cheap defenders. Daniels for 4.5 could be a really great option. I think Daniels, Cedric, and Tompkins, the 4.5 that we've covered in this game, could be great. In the £4 million one as well from Crystal Palace. If we find out that he's going to be a starter, then that's going to be brilliant for what we know so far. But yeah, again, just looking at these fixtures, Aki, goal threat, I'd probably still lean towards Daniels to save the money. And yeah, that's it really. Begovic could work in a rotation, so that's why I've got him in there, but they don't have the greatest defence, do they? So I think Daniels, usually a goal threat. I believe he had a bit of an off-season. Still got 3 assists and a goal, which is decent for a fullback, to be fair. And Ake, again, 2 goals and 3 assists from Ake as well. So yeah, both did pretty well last season. I think I'd probably lean more towards Daniels. Obviously, not the greatest defence. Okay, so I actually forgot about Burnley, so I'm just recording this afterwards. Obviously, Burnley, we know about their great defence. Some of probably the best fixtures to start the season out of all the West teams. Look at all these 2s. Only that 1-4 really in there, but yeah, don't know how I forgot about these. But yeah, obviously we don't know which keeper's going to start. Might be Heaton because Pope's had a World Cup duty, but I don't think that really affects keepers. So we'll just have to, again, we'll find out from pre-season. I think Tark's probably better than me at the back, I would say. Perhaps you could go for Ward for the assists, the attacking threat. Long or any 4.5 really, whether it's Bardsley or Long or Taylor, but I think Lowton will probably come and take that spot back now. He's not injured anymore. Goodmanson is a consistent option at £6 million. 2 goals, 9 assists. 9 assists, very good. Obviously, most of those coming from crosses to the 2 big guys up top. I'd say Barnes for £6 million, very good, but I would be looking to Austin more. Don't score a great deal of goals, Burnley would. I think 6.5. I think, yeah, with those fixtures, if you're going for 2 cheap strikers, that could be good. Or if you just want to save a bit of money, toss in Zaha, Arne, the £7 million strikers. There are a few good ones that I like in that range, but dropping down to Wood could save you some money. See a few people going for Lennon, but in that £5 million midfielders, as we spoke earlier, I do think there are better options. He is an option there that people are going for. I hope you can notice the up in quality. I am using a new mic. Hope that makes a difference. And there was a problem in the last video with the video not being full screen. That's because I changed the aspect ratio mid-video. So hopefully that should be better. I've recorded the whole screen so you don't get those annoying black bars. It will just be these white bits at the side.